You and I, over the foreseeable future, will spend we'll spend a lot of time getting to know each other. Here is the unabridged, unedited, unpolished version of who I am and what you need to learn to truly know me. About 3 years ago, I transitioned into this role as an entrepreneur, author, podcaster, and retired award-winning soldier of 22 years. Now, it's been an ambitious learning journey for me. I taught myself marketing, sales, branding, public speaking, writing, authorship. I learned how to create website, operate various software, formatting books, editing podcast audios, and the list goes on. Now, why am I telling you this? Because when you set your mind to reaching a destination, you will get there if you stay committed. So where are you heading? Answer that question for me. Where are you heading? I am opening up my calendar to you over the next foreseeable future. So what is your thing? What is the thing you want to make real? Maybe it's something on your list of, or maybe it's something on my list. So what is on your list? Maybe something on my list of things I just laid out for you. So the people I want to be a hero to are people just like me. Those who embody these three identities: an immigrant, veteran, an entrepreneur with aspiration to turn their history, their ambition, and their emotional property into intellectual property. That is something I'm passionate about. So if you think about your life and looking back into your history, those emotional property, those things that you've experienced, and you think about whether or not you want to turn them into intellectual property. Now, I founded my organization, Life Changing Wisdom Coach, and our highest value is wisdom. Applying what you know, applying what works. And through this organization, I founded another community called Memoirs to Millions. And now what I'm focused on is writing memoirs. And if you understand what memoirs is where you take, certain, I was certain episodes of your life, so to speak, certain episodes of your life, and you put those stories together and share them with other people that is impactful, where someone can take your story that you've looked into, you have experienced, and how you have transformed that story into being useful. So when they look at their own life, they can look at their own story like, wait a minute, what you did to yours to make it meaningful and purposeful, I can do to mine. And that's the power of memoirs, the power of looking at your history, your emotional property, and turn it into intellectual property. Now think about your life. And what about you? What about your story that you've been holding on to for so long, but has a need, has a desire to share it, but don't know how to do it? And those are the people I want to be a hero to. So I spent the last 3 years working on how to make this real for other people. First, I made it real in my own life. I published 4 books already. Just learned about the journey of writing and sharing, being comfortable with writing and sharing. Because a lot of stuff in my life, my history, I didn't feel like sharing because, I was worried about what other people going to judge and say about it. But I decided that, you know what, if I don't share it, who's going to share it? Because nobody knows how I feel. Like my feeling is like I'm the only one that felt it. Like I own that. And until that is shared, nobody really knows what it is. So nobody has your feelings. Nobody has my feeling. I'm the only one that has it. And I gotta own it. So whatever my experience was, I started looking at it differently and thinking about how can I make this useful to other people? Because somebody's having very similar experience and having difficulty translating it, like taking your emotion and put it into words where other people are like, wait a minute, you just describe what I just went through, but I didn't have the words to describe it. So that is my art. I've gotten very good at taking what people feel, what they think, and put words to it, put language to it that connects. And I'm very passionate about it. I love that work because it's been very meaningful to me as well. You know, I was born and raised in Jamaica, and for 18, almost 19 years of my life, that's where I lived. Moved to the United States, joined the military, worked in the finance corps in the military, so to speak. So I worked on a lot of systems and software systems in the finance corps. Did wasn't a lover of numbers, but I did like writing because it felt a lot more easier than numbers to me personally. Even though I had different challenges with the English grammar, the English language didn't really felt like I mastered the art of the English language or the grammar. But I think it's a lifelong journey with that process. But I loved it. But I was insecure about sharing it, and that was the thing. I loved it, but I was insecure about sharing it because I didn't master grammar or the rules of the English language. I didn't master it, so I was embarrassed to share what I was thinking and feeling. Some of the poetic stuff I was having in my head, some of the things that I was thinking about that was just so deep, but I couldn't write it in language where people were like, "Oh, I see your arrows." And but now, thanks to the age we're in right now, where a lot of us get to look at our own skill set, the things that we've been thinking about, the things that we felt deeply in our heart, we can start sharing it because there's a lot of distribution platform available now for people to express themselves, to express their ambition, to express their desire, to express the things about them that they feel like it's meaningful to other people because it's meaningful to them. And we're in the age of sharing, communicating. And that, my friend, we get to do together now. So I have a lot of passion in this area. And I figure I had to speak on my side of the house today to kind of let you know like who I am and what I'm about, what I'm passionate about, and whether or not my passion could be aligned with your purpose, your mission, and then together we all can achieve our own dreams, our own goals together. So I'm looking forward to working with you because there's different ways of operating. People like stuff done for them. People like to do it to other people, and people like to get it done without them being part of it. But either way, my calendar is open now, and I'm excited about it because yeah, it's been a while. I took a lot of time off after I retired just to work on me and just work on some stuff I want to transition into, and I had to shift a lot of my mindset from thinking like a soldier to thinking like an entrepreneur. It's a whole different mindset. And if you're a person that's transitioned from being in the military to into entrepreneurship, then that's a big shift, big transition, whole different set of mindset, whole different mindset. And you gotta like tap into it. And takes a while to transform yourself back into a new person. Took me a while, but I was enjoying the transition, the transformation process. And I feel really good about it. And when I'm sitting either on Zoom like this or I'm on the phone or in person with somebody and I'm listening to their story and it feels good. Back in 2022, I launched a podcast called Pandora's Awareness Podcast. And I just wanted to hear other people's stories. So what I did was I went out there and I just invite people on Zoom with me and I do the interview style. We talk about the story. They get to share the story. And I kind of focused it's on this theme that I call, people talk about their first time experiences. Just think about your first time experiences, their fears, their failures, their dreams, and their victories, right? Those are the 5 areas that I focused on. And people just kind of tell their story. And I was listening, just people talk about themselves. And I asked a few questions because I'm curious about other people's life. And I hear people share the story. I'm like, wait a minute. A lot of stuff like this is impactful to people. So you can look up Pandora's Awareness Podcast on YouTube because I live stream into YouTube when I do my podcast. So if you go on Pandora's Awareness podcast on YouTube, you go in the live section, you can see all those episodes of me just talking to a lot of people from all over the world. Actually, they come on, different skill set, different walks of life. They just share their stuff, will ask questions, they talk about them, their work, their passion, their business, their history, all that stuff. But it gave me a lot of insight into the work I want to do, around collecting stories and circulating life changing wisdom. So I did that, and that was very empowering for me last year. Last year was a big year. I did probably what 80 something interviews with a bunch of different people, probably hundreds of people on there, and it was really really awesome. And then I met another person because I was thinking about another podcast. I had it's called Idea Tennis. The name of the podcast, Idea Tennis. And I had that vision for a while, and I was like, I want to just have a podcast, me and one person. We get up every day, and we not every day, but like every week, and we just go back and forth with ideas. If I'm working on a book, then we can talk about just like going through the book, how the book process is working, or I'm writing, how my ideas are coming together, and just share it, how these ideas come together, how they can be used to other people. And so we started the podcast in October last year, and it's been really good. Myself and Jessica, that's her name, Jessica BB, and you can check that podcast out too. It's a pretty good platform, and that's another place where I'm gonna really just spend a lot of time sharing my ideas, like on a bridge on it, to just go there and just share stuff, right? Just raw share stuff, because a lot of the things that I've learned that I think people can benefit from, like a lot of the tools that I've learned how to use, or to like how to publish your book, self-publish your book completely. A lot of systems that I've learned how to edit your podcast, or to get your stuff organized a certain way. Like a lot of things I've learned, I'm gonna share on there, me and her, and just kind of tie people into the community. So a lot of introduction about certain things gonna be happening. And if you're curious about it, then yeah, just learn some stuff from me. Go do it yourself. And then if you're like, well, I want to do it with you guys, because that's the game plan here, is to create a community where we all get to do our dreams together. We all get to do our dreams together. Whatever your dreams is, you come be part of the community. We do it together and we get it out there. And everybody invest and just grow together. And that's the thing I'm looking forward to, building that community. And that was triggered by a transition moment I had when I left the military, and I was cut off from the brotherhood in the military. And I missed the brotherhood. And I was like, I need something like this again. But I was going into entrepreneurship, and I had no idea or no connection to how those communities were set, put together. So I had to go find out myself. So I asked around and go to network events and so forth, so on, start meeting people. And then little by little, I start building the tribe, the Asher tribe. I start building the tribe. And all of that was coming together. I started meeting people, and I feel like I'm back in the brotherhood again, the sisterhood, so forth and so on. Having the right kind of people around me, and just having those people around me help me see stuff a lot differently, feel more inspired. Ambition starting to expand, because I might have this, you know, this way of looking at things, and then when you meet somebody that's like, oh, this person's looking at it way big, like, oh, they expand your mind, and all of those things start happening. Then the frustration goes away. If you're feeling stuck on something, that stuckness, the door is open and you get out of that trap. And the right kind of people showing up and help you unlock certain things that you wasn't thinking about in a certain way. So that's been happening for me. So it's been a really, really good journey so far. And I'm opening up my calendar now. Like, okay, Asher, time for you to go out there and teach what you want to learn. Teach what you want to learn, and teach what you've learned. And if you're ready to be part of this journey, come join Memoirs to Millions. So right now, it's a new launch. So we're working on it. And you might be getting this message when it's already launched or not, but either way, right? I'm building it, always building it. And the goal is to keep elevating from one phase to the next phase, the higher, we just keep growing. Like we start here when this area is like working pretty good, and everybody's like, wait a minute, we need something higher. We build something higher within the community and keep expanding, keep growing. Because how I vision, my lifetime work is where, like the retreat concept, where you bring people together. We go retreat, in a nice location, and we just come together and just work and talk and just enjoy and just share each other journey. we can do that in person, and then we can do that online, because everybody got, I'm home right now, but then we can jump online with that community. We get together, or we can write. We can just log in and we all write together, work on our stuff, and then we publish, and then we share. Then we build our business, build our ideas, empower our families. We come together at a location, a retreat location, come together. We all show up and we just work together again, and all that stuff is happening. So that's a big vision. Writing retreats, different kind of retreats, relationship retreats, all those retreats, forgiveness retreat. I mean, there's a lot of ways we can put stuff together. But in this community, it's for immigrants, veterans, and entrepreneurs. And different containers going to be part of it, but bringing a lot of people together, we get to empower each other and going forward. So there you have it. A little bit about Asher. Asher. So my pen name is Asher AW. So I want to be known by Asher, just Asher, but I understand certain stuff that I played out a certain way. And I publish most of my book under Asher AW. If you go look up my books, that's where you're gonna find them underneath on Amazon. But I'm gonna build everything around that name because I love my first name, by the way. It means happy in Hebrew. And most of like the first half of my life, I was called Asher. Then I joined the military. Then they called me Wright. My last name is Wright. They call me Wright. I'm like, wait a minute, I want to go back to being just called Asher. Just Asher. So my middle name is Albert. So Asher AW is Asher Albert Wright. So AW is my middle name and my last name initials. So there you have it, in case you might be wondering. And this gonna be out there in the world. But yeah, so my book's gonna be published on the Asher AWs. All my books. That's my decision. That's what I'm gonna do. So if you're looking me up, that's what you look me up under. Yeah, those two names. We all got aliases. But looking forward to meeting you. And thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for the generous use of your time hanging out and listening, getting to know me. So that tells me you're curious, and I would love to get to know you. Yeah, looking forward to that day. Like, yeah, Asher, I listened to your introduction. I'm like, yeah, I was sitting there on January 2025. Actually, the date is, let me get the date. January 3rd, 2025. This is when I actually record this. And yeah, looking forward to meeting a lot more people in the future and sharing my story and getting to know theirs. And with that, make it an utterly fantastic year 2025 and beyond.